There were a couple, violent encounters where we had to fight people to the ground and that type of stuff. We did get pepper spray, which I love pepper spray. The bad thing about that is everybody gets it, right? Your little pepper spray, everybody
Yeah.
gets it. So you might as well just hose both of you down because you're all going to get it anyway. But I, you know, there's no kidding. Pepper spray saved my life one night, and so I'm thankful for those tools that help us overcome that resistance. And it does really. Uh, they really are life-saving tools, whether that's a taser or pepper spray.
Can you talk about that story where you think the pepper spray saved?
Yeah, I'd made a DUI stop.
Mhm.
I'd pulled a car over, had 5 occupants in the car. I'm dealing with the driver. It's cold. It's like 8 degrees outside, super cold. And passenger gets out and begins to, he's displaying assaultive behavior, right? All the aggression clues, everything else. And it's 8 degrees, and he takes his jacket off, right? So that tells you things are fixing to start. So I'm telling him to get back in the car. The driver was fairly compliant. As that guy's coming backwards at me, I'm issuing him commands. As he gets within about a step and a half of me, he's just basically telling me, "What are you going to do about it?" And so I just come up with that canister of pepper spray and hit him right across the eyes with it. And so he couldn't see. And he charged right at me, kind of put his head down, come running at me. And I just stepped to the side and he ran right past me. And then all of them pile out of the car, right? And so I'm telling them to get back in the car. And they're not complying with me. So I just jumped back in my patrol vehicle, popped it in reverse, and backed up the road a little bit and waited for my backup unit to come, which was the state cop who was about 30 miles away, who's coming to back me up. And um, as I was sitting there, I'm telling him to get away from this guy, and he's gone down off the side of the road, and he's taking hands full of snow and rubbing his eyes with it, trying to get the pepper spray out of his eyes. It's 8 degrees outside. And I'm telling him, if you get away from him, I'll help him. I'll help him. They won't leave him. So by the time the state cop got there, this guy had frostbite on his hands, couldn't see, and but we had won the day, and so everybody in the car went to jail, and it was all good. And the driver got charged with DUI. But it's just one of those examples that without that tool, I don't know where that goes.
Yeah, I have seen those videos where it's one guy and there's four guys in I hate those videos.
Yeah. And sometimes your best option is to retreat,
Yeah.
At that point, if they're not going to comply. But luckily we were able to get them all together that night and get them all arrested. But yeah, there's just examples of that. Similar bar fights. I've been in bar fights. The only thing that stopped the bar fight was enough pepper spray applied in the correct directions, and it stops it.
Let me ask you something about what you just said. I think it's very interesting. I haven't got to ask this before. Having the ability to know when to retreat. I think a lot of cops have this built-in pride. I can take care of this issue. Where do you think that comes from? I mean, or how is that something that you can teach, as opposed to being a prideful officer and thinking, "Hey, I can get this done," as opposed to going, "Wait a minute, this is beyond my control. I got to back up for a second."
Yeah, I think part of it you learn, and I do think that when you're a brand new cop, that what you don't realize is there are a lot of folks out there that don't respect your authority. They actually have contempt for it.
Yeah.
And they will kill you, right? There are individuals out there that will kill you for what you represent to the society. So you just have to remember that, and you have to remember that we shouldn't we shouldn't lose anyone lightly. The only exception to that, I think, where we should step into the fight is when there are innocent lives that hang in the balance, right? We all accept the fact that we'll give our life in the service of others. Just don't do it needlessly, right? If you're risking your life to save an innocent, 100% okay with that. But if you're risking your life to enforce a statute, you might want to take a real hard, long thought about that and try to know where that line is, right? Because you can get them tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can charge the charge And you can help them understand that it was worse for them because they didn't comply. If they would have complied, it might have been a ticket and they could have went on their way.
Yeah.
But now because of this, they all went to jail and they all have to post bond, right? That type of thing, making sure that they understand that if they just comply early on, it's a lot better. But don't ever put yourself in a situation where we have to explain to your widow that you died because you were trying to enforce a statute. That doesn't benefit anybody. We would rather have you alive.